Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Francisco. It's the 100th episode of the On The Go Show.
Well, James, here we are. 100 episodes later.
Here we are.
The 100th On The Go with Jacob and James special.
Is this your first time making to 100th of anything?
Yeah. I would say so.
I think so.
I'm not 100 years old.
I know it is for me.
It's crazy, right? Like 100 episodes. We've managed. First of all, way back when we first started, you said 10 was an accomplishment.
10, yeah, I did. I remember that.
And then here it is, 90 more episodes after that.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you and us and everybody else involved in this little project that we have going on. So, and it's cool because I looked at the dates, and last Friday's episode, or our last episode to come out, was released on the year anniversary of when we started recording.
Really?
Yeah. So we've officially been recording for about a year.
God, man, that's crazy.
It goes by fast,
Man.
doesn't it? But we've learned a lot. I would hope we learned a lot.
I think so.
So I just want to take this first segment to talk about our growth and kind of what we learned about podcasting and whatnot. So I'm going to open the floor up to you to begin if you're ready.
It's not nothing that I learned more of. It's something that I already knew. Podcasting is a complete grind. To have to come up with subjects every day, to have to come up with different things to talk about, interesting things to talk about, it's extremely difficult.
You are correct.
It's easy watching other people do it.
Yeah.
But they're not just sitting up there talking. They actually still have some type of notes and prep ready.
It feels like it's easy because you don't hear all the editing and whatnot in the background. You don't get that. You get the final produced product. So it sounds easy. It seems easy. And it's it's just two people just spitting back and forth.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. And it's even more harder when you're working with somebody that you have to make sure you're in compatible with. Yeah, I think that's the word. Compatible. Compatible. You have to make sure, hey, you want to talk about this? No. You want to talk about that? Okay.
Yeah.
You have to have a great level of understanding of who you're working with. And I think for the better part, I think we've done a good job of making sure of that.
I think so too.
And I think, for me personally, really has not been the best year of my life. The past 2 years has been kind of a struggle to keep doing this podcast because, quite honestly, I kind of wanted to stop a couple months ago.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But I wanted to keep it going because I wanted to achieve this. Mm-hmm. I never made it to 100 of anything. I don't have plaques laying around my house. I was in ROTC in high school. I got a Letterman, got a couple medals, stuff like that. And that was about it. I was in high school band. So for me, this is a big deal to me.
Right.
It may not be a big deal to anybody else, but I take this very, very seriously.
Yeah.
Because I love creating, I love talking, and I love, everything. I love movies, music. I love life.
Yeah.
So this is it's really been something. I tell you, it really has. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I want us to keep growing more and more and keep learning more and more. And who knows, down the line, maybe stuff might change. We might do other type of different stuff.
Right.
But I'm very happy on where we've been so far.
I think you're very good at this. That's the honest truth. I edit this. I edit these things. I hear it in the post. I think you are very good at doing a talk show or a podcast. I always hate using the term podcast because everybody's got a podcast. I've said it before. I said it at the very first episode. I don't want this to just be a podcast. I want it to be a show. But I think you are very good at it compared to me. Because there is a lot of times where I'm listening to myself talk and I'm just like, I'm not very good at this at all. I stumble over my words a lot. I mispronounce things.
I feel the same way about myself. So I feel the same exact way about myself.
I don't know. I feel like you do it a lot better than me. And like, you talk about wanting to quit a couple months ago. There's been plenty of times where I'm just like, I got to tell James he's got to find a different co-host. Because I don't feel like I'm very good at this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely felt the same way, man. I get it. Like sometimes I would just, because people don't know this, but Jacob used to pick me up because we don't live close to each other,
right?
And we would just, I'll be thinking to myself, getting in the car with you, I'm just like, man, this has got to be the day that I'll stop doing this. And some of it is not really because of you. It has nothing to do with you. It just had something to do with just life itself.
Yeah.
And it's being, and the podcast, the best part of my day was doing the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just getting back into that groove. I have to turn on that mindset of like, okay, here I go, podcast time.
Yeah, you're right. I get that because you very much adopt like an on personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like in talk radio and entertainment in general. That's what's known as being on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I kind of understand that. Like because before it's like the preliminary. Yeah. Right. Like you're still in your standard like regular mindset, and then when we come to do the podcast, we go and we're on and we're talking about things and we're discussing, and everything kind of lightens up throughout the course of the day and when we're recording.
It's the same way with you because you're working for a radio station where you're constantly pushing this, taking that out.
Yeah.
Make sure I do this. It's like when you come from work, you get up at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I do. I get up at 3:30. I'm at work at 4.
I mean, come on, man.
By the time we record, it's like the afternoon.
Exactly. So I know your mindset is completely like, I'm zapped.
Yeah.
By the end of this day, but I got to turn it on again.
A lot of the times I am pretty tired.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why I like stumble and fumble, I think, when I speak, is just because I've been awake all day. So I think that just kind of affects it. But no, I mean, I think we've learned quite a bit. I've gotten way better at my editing.
I was about to say that. Do you feel like you've gotten better at editing?
I think so. I feel it. I can see it. I can go look back at older episodes and notice like the sound quality improving over time. It's just like learning techniques, and I updated microphones, and I think we've adapted pretty well. We first started out with just doing Spotify, and then we've kind of gotten some other distributors, and we've gone on YouTube, and I think YouTube really picked us up.
I think
quite a bit. At this point, we have almost 3,000 views on YouTube, and I think we have about 138 episodes of like content in total. Because this is the 100th episode, but we've put out like little specials here and there. We had like little bonus things, skits and whatnot that I would produce, with some friends of the show. So when you kind of divide that up, on average, we probably have like a couple hundred views per upload. When you look at it. We've learned a lot.
Yeah.
We've been able to learn, we've been able to grow, and there's, overall, are you satisfied with what we've been able to put out?
I am. I just want us to keep getting better.
Yeah.
I just want us to, that's the main thing. I want us to keep getting, I want us to grow this into being a brand almost.
Right. Right. So before we get into that part of the show, what do you think we can improve on?
Ooh, that's a good one. You hit me hit it below, huh?
Damn.
Had to be quick. See, I don't know because I can't pinpoint more. The only person that can really pinpoint is probably the people.
Yeah, it's true.
People listen to us. They're the ones that's going to be able to determine what we can do better.
That is true.
That's why it's important for you guys to email us to let us know.
onthegopod2023@gmail.com.
Exactly. To let us know what can we get better at.
Yeah.
I can't pinpoint.
Or even just like subjects that people want to hear more.
Well, I think we've gotten better with that.
We have, but we're really a variety show.
We are.
What I mean? We talk about a variety of things. We cover mostly entertainment, news, pop culture-y things, but then we also cover our lives and what's going on, and then we also cover world events from time to time if there's really major interesting things going on. So it's just kind of like, would people like to hear us talk about more current event kind of stuff, or is the pop culture thing really working pretty well? Because compared to other pop culture type podcasts out there, we don't really follow the same format that others do. In a perfect world, we would be reviewing Beetlejuice.
True.
Before we saw Beetlejuice 2, and then we would put out a review of Beetlejuice 2, you know, we would probably do episodes based off of certain IPs when those sequels or prequels or spinoffs get released, right? But we're not really doing that.
No, we try to mix it up a little bit.
We do, and I don't think we have to do that. I think that kind of sets us apart in a way.
We have to, because man, I don't know about you, but I'm on YouTube a lot.
Yeah,
every day there's a new podcast coming out.
There's a new podcast with the same kind of subject,
same type of subject,
same subject matter, and that was something I wanted to set out at the beginning of this because I don't want to be the same subject matter as another show or another podcast. I don't want to follow the same kind of trends. I want us to be our own thing, and I want us to be able to do our own thing and set ourselves apart. And that's why, you know, I try to look at this as more of a show format where it's like we have transitions, we have commercials sometimes, produce commercials that we make ourselves.
True.
You know, I've created stingers for between segment stuff. I'm really tried to set us apart from those other shows.
I understand that. Like, and I, you know, even if it was some skits or things that you might have done that I might not have agreed with or liked, I understand what the overall arcing thing that you're trying to do. You're trying to set us apart from everybody else.
Yeah.
Because if you're just like everybody else, no one's going to listen to your stuff.
Yeah.
Because what makes you different from anybody else?
Right.
So I totally understand.
Yeah.
I get it.
I love Jacob and James on the go podcast because I can like listen to it in the car or at home or like on the go. It's just super easy. You know what I mean?
This kind of brings us up into our next segment, James, is what do we want for the future of the brand? You said you want On The Go to kind of become over brand. And I think we talked about that from the very beginning, honestly. It's like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, what can we do to be able to spin this off in the future if we chose to? So, what are your thoughts?
I like to have us have different shows.
Yes.
So, I know some people have listened to Joel and the Monkey.
Yeah.
And I've listened to it.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay.
The editing on there was perfect.
Thank you.
So I would like to see that have its own little format.
Right.
I want to do a music pod.
Okay.
All music pod.
Now I know, I know when we first started recording, you did express interest in doing a second pod, and I was like, well, let's hold off on that.
Yeah, I remember that. I do.
You know, I said it very nicely. I was like, well, let's get this off the ground.
It was ambitious. It was an ambitious move.
Right.
It was an ambitious move at that time.
Right. And yeah, you're certainly right. At the beginning, it would have been very ambitious, but now we're kind of at that point where we can spin off, and I think we are ready. And I know you're ready because you've been telling me about it for a couple months, and you've been teasing it ever so slightly on the show.
Because I figure that, you know, this will be a good way for me to not so much break away, but I can kind of set my own
be able to do your own thing.
Yeah, be able to do my own thing, but at the same time, still keeping in the same brand of the On The Go pod.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll still be on the go.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love music. Music is pretty much therapy to me, you know, and I don't see a lot of podcasts that do music other than Apple.
Right.
And other than like radio stations that have their own podcasts. And if they do music, you know, it's a lot of BS.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want mine to be like that. I want mine to be in a format where you can come and I'm going to be reviewing rock albums, whatever's coming out, top 5.
Right.
Whatever's going on in music. We talk about that and all types of stuff like that. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think that's a good idea.
I think so too.
I think it's a fun idea. It's better than the original idea you had.
I think so.
I think
so too.
You know, it'll also provide the extra bit of content that we don't really cover as much on the show.
That's what I was thinking.
We cover music occasionally, but for the most part, it's film and TV. So I think the music side of things, and not to say that we can't cover music. We can cover music on our show together as well, and we can use that as a way to like pimp out your show.
True.
When you get it started, right? We can kind of talk about something, and then you can just be like, and I cover this more on Music with James or whatever we call it. You know what I mean? I think that's a good idea. I kind of want to do my own thing at some point as well. That way we each have like our individual shows. I think that'll be a fun idea. I just don't know what exactly I'm going to do yet. I've always had this idea of having my own kind of variety show where I just talk about whatever I wanted to talk about that day. Or I have a bunch of old content that some stuff hasn't been released yet. Some stuff I did with Kevin and Isaac and Chris back in the day when I was still like living with them. And then even when we were doing like the Dungeons and Dragons podcast, I still have that. And what I've been really wanting to do is remix that.
I was about to ask how you want to remix that.
Yeah. And put it back out there because that was our first podcast that we did when I was still just learning everything.
Yeah.
And it sounds bad.
I bet.
I mean, we also recorded in the middle of Kevin's apartment. And we were like eating snacks and all this stuff. While it's a D&D, but we were playing D&D. Snacks were obviously involved.
Dragons,
and it kind of comes with the territory. But, it's just like the audio quality can be boosted a lot more. And also there's like a website that provides like free tabletop music, like for D&D type campaigns. So I'd really like to add that element to the show. And so I would really like to just remix that and put it out there again. And I think I would do that on my own.
That'd be cool.
Like version. It's like, hey, here's the remix version of this.
Yeah.
Here's this other show that we worked on, but we never really released. And like, here's some other like recordings that we did. I just kind of want to do something like that to start and then maybe move on to something else or maybe I just use it as a challenge to produce different things and like showcase it there. I'm not entirely for sure yet, but it's something I've been kind of like milling about in my head that I kind of want to do. I'm pitching a show to Richard. I just pitched it to him recently.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, Richard. And I had an idea to do a show with a character that he used to play. And he doesn't play the character anymore because his voice hurts when he does it. But I think I figured out a way for him to do that character and not have him keep that character going for the entire episode of the show. It'll be more of like a pre-recorded thing at the beginning and end, and then the middle will be, other pieces of content. And I don't want to talk about it too much on air because this is like
true,
super in the works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like nothing's confirmed, nothing's denied, so I don't want to like throw it out there just yet.
It's like, it's coming. Oh,
yeah,
coming.
Exactly. So I want to get him involved in that, and just like I think it'll be a neat idea, and if we can work together on it, that'll be great. And You'll know it when you see it. Like if it happens, you'll know very, very soon at some point. But so that's just kind of what we're thinking about doing, is just expanding the brand. And really something I want to do is when we add a show, on the go is a piece of the brand.
It's gonna be the headlining thing that you see still.
Yeah, because my idea would be on the go with Joel and the Monkey, on the go with Jacob D'Antone, on the go with James Jackson. I mean, or we can do on the go presents.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think you had that idea, and that also works very well. But it would still be under like the on the go umbrella.
Still on the go. Yep.
We're gonna be very much connected in every conceivable way, and maybe in the far future we can bring in other shows.
Yeah, other people that want to do podcasts and stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm. And if they already have a podcast name, cool. We can bring them aboard. We can just post it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then anybody who wants to make a podcast with us, we'll just like incorporate on the go somehow, potentially. I don't know. That could always change too.
Yeah.
This is a far future thing.
This
is not happening directly after this.
No.
You know what I mean? But yeah, these are all just things that like I really want to see us expand on, because I think we've done a very good job over the last year of building this up.
Done a real good job.
And we've done great about recording. We've been very consistent. There's only been a couple times where like we couldn't record.
Hurricanes,
COVID, just people being sick or whatever. And there's been times where I've had a vacation or you've had a vacation and we just like pre-recorded some stuff. Yeah. I got another vacation coming up pretty soon, so we're going to be pre-recording some episodes. So we're just going to have some very, not generic, but we're not going to be covering like newsy type things current for a stretch. It's going to be, maybe we'll talk about a specific topic that day, or maybe we'll play some games, or what I'm working on, James, is getting an interview set up with King David again.
Should be cool.
because I want to bring him back on the show, and I want to catch up with him. And
Got him on my pod.
yeah, we could. That'd be a good crossover.
Yep.
It's a good idea. We'll talk about that more after the recording. But yeah, I do want to bring him back on, and I just want to, kind of do an update with him and see what he's been up to over the last year. I mean, we know what he's been up to, but just kind of catch up. I think that'll be a good episode. So we got that coming down the pipe pretty soon. We have a lot of good ideas coming up, and I mean, 100 episodes, man. It's been incredible.
I never thought I would ever get this far.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
For real.
Podcasting is tough. It truly is. I can't keep saying that more and more.
Well, it's a commitment.
It's a hell of a commitment.
People don't realize how big of a commitment it is, and how much you got to go through to just get it done. I mean, in theory, it sounds easy because it's like, oh, it's an hour of recording, and we'll just put it out there. And you can just record and straight put it out there with no production on or whatever. And I recommend just make something. If you are out there and you just want to like make something, just record. You can record on your phone.
That's all you got to do.
There's apps out there. You can record on your phone. You can put it through the program. It'll make it sound as good as a studio, and you can really start podcasting. But to really build something, it takes a lot of commitment, and it takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of energy and brain power that goes into it. So,
and you have to be high energy when you do it.
You do.
I know like a couple of my episodes where I was just like,
oh, same.
Energy sucked. And I had one friend tell me that. He's like, man, I could tell you wasn't really there for that. I was like, yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
It happens. And not that like we have to be high energy all the damn time either. Like sometimes not every episode's a banger.
It's not.
You know what I mean? Not every episode's going to be perfect. Not every episode's going to be like, that was amazing. We're not professionals at this just yet.
Just not just yet. You're right.
We've been doing this pretty consistently for about a year. And honestly, this is the best work I've been able to put out on my own, without being in a studio or without being at the radio station. This is some of the best stuff I've been able to do. And I'm continuing to grow. And it's just, like I said, not everything's going to be great, but also we've had a lot of great episodes. And I think we've had a lot of great content out there. And at the very least, we've had a lot of fun doing it. And at the end of it, that's what's important. Mm-hmm. Is we've had a lot of fun making the show. And I continue to have a lot of fun making the show. And I'm glad that we're getting other people in on it.
Me too.
Even from the beginning, we had Richard kind of helping us out, and now we have Joel working with us. And hopefully we can kind of continue to build up the team a little bit more. We're getting there.
Hello, mates. If I'm not punching a Joey in the face or wrestling a crook, I'm listening to Jacob and James on the Go podcast. It's the best podcast down under. Crikey! A koala bear just took me lunch. I gotta go beat him with a didgeridoo. Catch you later.
So the biggest change that's kind of come to the show is the fact that I will no longer be in Houston. I'm moving to San Antonio.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. This is the first time James is hearing about it. No, I'm joking. Wouldn't that have been wild if I just waited?
I have seen it happen to some shows, man.
Just to get the authentic reaction?
I've seen it happen to some shows.
Yeah. I know I do a lot of things without telling you just because I want to see your reaction and I want to get the honest reaction, but I would not save that.
Man, I've seen that happen. I was like, God, right there.
No. Oof. So I'm moving to San Antonio for work purposes. Obviously, we're not announcing the cancellation of the show. We're talking about what we want to do for the future, and that includes how we're going to operate with me being in San Antonio and James being here. Obviously, nowadays there's plenty of tools that can help us do a remote recording. James and I have been practicing with some stuff. Actually, in a previous episode, we did a segment remotely, and it was in the show. And if you noticed, you noticed, and if you didn't, great. But it probably was noticeable. So essentially, the format's not going to change. On the Go with Jacob and James is still going to be a show that we're going to do.
It'll probably just be more of one show.
It might be once a week, depending on how things work out, or we might go down to once a week, and then when we get better, or when when I figure out my schedule in San Antonio, and after I adjust and everything, we'll probably go back to 2 episodes a week, right? Sometimes I think we should just do one a week, but
I think we should just do one show.
Yeah,
just call it Jacob and James Variety Hour.
Jacob and James Variety Hour.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we could. It's not. I mean, it wouldn't just be an hour though. It would probably be like an hour and a half long. I'd imagine. I think we should just combine the Friday and the Monday
just
release.
Combine them together.
And then we just release on Fridays.
Yeah,
I think that would be great. It's going to slow us down a little bit because obviously we won't get to 200 as fast as we did 100.
True, but the good news is you'll still be hearing me.
Yeah,
you'll still be hearing you.
Yeah,
they'll still be hearing us, but it won't be us together.
Yeah.
They'll just be hearing us separate.
And we'll still be together.
We'll still be together.
We'll still have On the Go with Jacob and James.
Yeah.
And then we'll have other things going on, and then we can kind of like, pimp the other episodes out and whatnot.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of the big major change that's happening is like, we're probably going to go down to like once a week. And overall, I think that would work out a lot more.
I think so too.
As far as show prep goes. If anything, I want to say maybe we'll be able to work out our content better.
I think so.
Doing once a week, we can actually plan fully for like, hey, this week let's talk about this movie.
Yep.
This week let's do this. Let's do that, and then we'll do like newsy bits at the beginning or something like that. We'll fold them in somehow, and then we'll still have our segments. We'll still have our parodies and stuff that we do. So that's the biggest change. Trying to think. The second recording is always harder to do, and that's another reason to go down to.
That's another reason why to go down
to once a week is because we record our episodes back to back, and that second recording is killer. So I think if we combine like a good solid hour and a half, we'll probably go to like an hour and a half length, depending on what all we have to talk about. So. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks. Actually, I'll be moving to San Antonio, and then you're not going to notice it right away because we're going to have some backed up episodes. We're going to have some filler episodes, and then we'll unveil the new format. Obviously, we won't be in the same room, but we have ways to connect and we have ways to do things. And yeah, we got a lot of changes coming up, and it's been a ride.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just things just growing. Let's get. I honestly can't wait. I honestly cannot wait.
No,
I have a lot of ideas.
I'm excited for the future too. It like the moving thing. It's bittersweet.
True.
It's a bittersweet thing, but what I envision for On the Go and Joel and the Monkey and the show with Richard and our individual shows, like what I envision, if we can pull it off, it could be very good.
And this is what I've always wanted anyway. I've always wanted to have my own brand.
Yeah.
That's something I've always dreamt of since I was like, God knows how long, 18 years old. I always wanted to have my own brand. And I feel like On the Go is definitely can be a brand name. Yeah. I can see that little logo or whatever our symbol is, whatever it is, right at the bottom of a screen. Yeah. The bottom of a radio, of a poster. Yeah. I've always wanted to do that. So,
and maybe in the future when we have some money, we'll revamp our logo and we'll revamp things over time. I would love to eventually have like a studio space to where we can get together and like make and create things. Yeah. And that's not impossible. That can happen.
Oh yeah,
in the future and whatnot. But 100 episodes and many more to go, many more to come. Excited for the future. Excited for how far we've come. I should have got a cake. Is what I should have done.
Like I said, I totally forgot, man. I totally forgot.
I should have brought a cake in here. I should have had like some candles. Yeah. Should have confetti.
I totally forgot.
One of those little confetti poppers. I mean, I don't know. Like we were trying to figure out what to do for the episode because it's like, oh, it's a special episode. It's our 100th episode, and we couldn't really think of anything. So I just like, well, what better to do than kind of like
being authentic,
mimic our first episode a little bit, and kind of talk about what we want because you know, in our first episode we talked about like, oh, we want to be a show, we want to have segments, we want to have transitions, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do that, but we want to do this, and I think we've been able to kind of keep that track record.
I think so too.
You know, we've been able to keep what we want to do, and you know, we've made a lot of progress. We've grown a lot, and there's more to come, and there's more to do, and we're gonna keep bringing it to you. So as long as you're listening, we're here, and you know, please share us with your friends. Tell them to subscribe and follow. Please follow us. Please subscribe to us. Please. You know,
we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. Ring the bell. Keep us in your lives on YouTube. So I think that's all I got to say. Is that you want to say anything else?
No, I think that's what we all need to be said. But what needed to be said was already said.
Great. So, like I said, be on the lookout for Joel and the Monkey coming pretty soon. Pretty soon after this release. Look out for James's new show. Look out for my new show whenever that gets ready to go. And yeah, if you want to email us and tell us what you think about what we should do in the future and how we should carry the brand forward, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, On The Go with Jacob and James, is all one word. You can find me on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio. You can find James on Instagram at
James9794.
And you can find us on YouTube. It's On The Go with Jacob and James. Like I said, just like, subscribe, follow, ring the bell, do all the things you need to do to keep us in your life and keep us on the go. So without further ado, I'm on the go. James is on the go. We're all on the go. All right, so this is our first episode, though.
Yeah, this is our first episode.
So
welcome to the first of many.
The first of many?
Yeah.
Okay. We can do. You want me to introduce it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can be like, hey, everybody, welcome to the first of many podcasts, according to my co-host, Mr. James Jackson.
What's going on, brother?
I am Jacob Dantone, and we are here to unveil the On The Go. Right? We're doing On The Go, right?
On The Go, yep.
I don't know why it's like got very unconfident right there.
It's kind of crazy how we still we like we're going through this. I had a complete structure.
Man, it never works out.
It
never works out like you think it's gonna go. I've been thinking about this thing for months. I've been thinking about topics. I've been thinking about like rants I'll go on. I've been thinking about all kinds of stuff. But like you put that microphone in front of your face and it goes away.
Like I went complete blank. As soon as she says how we're gonna open.
I didn't know we'd get this far.
I had no idea it was gonna be like this. So.
I didn't know it was gonna happen like this. All right.
Me either.